Folks, thanks for tuning in for your Saturday, the week ahead. This is just for you for the week ahead. Things you can be primed to be aware of and also to be talking about with some kind of insight when you're talking to friends, relatives, others around the water cooler, wherever it might be. So let's jump right into it here at StockwellDay.com on the Stockwell Day to Day show. Watch for big talks going up this week. As you have seen and as we kind of speculated, the hope that there would be a deal actually signed, because you saw President Trump actually sign, it was kind of like a docu-sign on a document back on Wednesday, and things seem to be unraveling right away. So I'm saying watch for what develops there. Clearly, what President Trump wants to see happen is some kind of a deal so that the markets go up and oil continues to go down. That's been the case. But they've got what they've called the midterm elections coming up. As we know, that takes place in November. And a lot can happen. A lot can shift around. He wants a strong economy. And who knows, maybe if they sign a deal and it goes badly in the end, I would say watch out right after the midterm elections to Iran, because heavy bombing may follow. But anyway, watch. Things are looking like they're coming a bit unraveled. One thing that the White House has to be, they cannot be seen as being slack on, is this issue of verifying the uranium process, making sure that so-called downgrading the uranium, they have to have what some officials are calling unfettered access at all times to the verification process when it comes to the rest of the uranium that is left there. And it would also be a real mistake, in my view, if they say that any kind of deal depends on Israel not doing attacks into Lebanon. Remember, Israel is not attacking the government of Lebanon or the people of Lebanon. They are attacking the encampments there, the hidden missile sites in Lebanon that are run by Hezbollah is a terrorist group entirely financed by the Iranian government, and it is there in Lebanon for the one purpose of continuing to firebomb every day, to fire missiles at Israel. And Israel cannot be in any way handcuffed in terms of responding to that. If looking from the American point of view, if from Tijuana they were firing bombs into San Diego, believe me, there would be a response. From a Canadian point of view, if in Detroit the Americans set up missile sites and started bombing Detroit, we would be responding. So let's hope that the U.S. does not go soft on that. But anyway, watch for that this week. This is ongoing for sure, as we kind of see what happens. There's going to be ongoing discussion, I think, with the opening of the Barack Obama Center. There's, of course, Democrats tend to think it's fabulous, but most people look at it architecturally. This is a really ugly building. Most presidents have some kind of a presidential library. This is really a museum of worship to Barack Obama. It's amazing. Even the fact they've got 91 words are actually carved into words from his speeches, carved into the upper parts of the building. It's funny how Democrats and the media go after Trump, and maybe with some justification for the fact he brags about himself all the time. This is a bragatorium for sure, what Barack Obama has put up there. Hey, full power to him, and it comes from all his donors. Anyway, watch for continued discussion about the Obama Center there. Disneyland, kind of something you might want to be watching there. They have just been told that one of their most famous rides, this is in the California Disneyland, is Autopia. It's an amazing car ride, and it's always been fun. They've been told now, if they don't switch from these little gas-powered cars that the kids drive around, if they don't switch to electric, they're going to shut down Disneyland. So let's keep an eye on that. We'll see what's going. I can tell you what's really got people interested. You might think world events are important, but of course, our favorite Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they haven't really officially announced the wedding date and place, but all kinds of cars and vehicles and tents being set up near the house, near Taylor's house on Rhode Island. And there's speculation it's going to be happening, it's going to be taking place there. So watch for that. That's an event coming up this week. Always interesting how the left, the socialists and the Democrat Socialists of America, they want to go after billionaires who create thousands and thousands of jobs and invent amazing new stuff to help the human race, but they don't go after billionaires but like Taylor. Hey, I have no problem with Taylor or athletes or anybody making millions of dollars. Just interesting who the media goes after. And the other thing to watch for, the big thing apparently out there online, is Prince William going to get an invite to the wedding? He's kind of dropped the hint he would like one. So anyway, we'll see what happens there. What you're seeing happen, just want to be saying that a lot of media concentration on the fact that Israel will be blamed for the Iranian so-called peace deal not going ahead, because you watch, I think, watch for it this week. You'll get the Iranians, the mullahs there, signing and agreeing to something, and then Hezbollah will attack. They'll fire missiles into Israel. Israel, of course, will have to respond, and Israel will increasingly, watch for this as a trend, increasingly be the one getting blamed if the peace situation is not settled in Iran. You've been hearing a lot of talk. Watch for it to continue. One of the beautification projects that the Trump administration has put in place, if you've been to Washington, there's that beautiful reflecting pool. It stretches out along the so-called mall there. It's always been beautiful, but it's over time it gets old, and it's like any swimming pool, needs to be fixed up. And Trump spent not a lot of money, but I think it was $14 million to do a refurbishment. And now they say there's greens, there's slime in the pool, there's green from algae, there's blue material. And now apparently the concern is that it was sabotaged directly because it was a Trump initiative, and that's why it's looking so ugly. We'll see, but keep an eye. Believe it or not, people are going to be reflecting more on the reflecting pool. Watch for and actually hope for and pray for the safety of women in Iran, because in the week coming up, a number of them announcing in a number of locations they are going to be showing up in public and not wearing the hijab, not wearing that headscarf. That can be the death penalty. These are brave women. These are women that are tired. Remember, the Shiite regime, Islam or the Muslim religion is divided into two sectors. You're either Shia or Sunni. The Sunni side, or Sunni side as they say, when Muhammad died, what happened was a lot of his followers, matter of fact, the majority of them, said that the successor would actually be his father-in-law. And from that succession came the Sunni side, not Sunni, Sunni side of Islam. And then a lot felt, no, it should be, well, they kind of mixed the term a bit, but his son-in-law, so not his father-in-law, but his son-in-law. That's from, and from that, we'll go into more detail on this for you next week, the Shiite, and they are much smaller. They'd probably be 10% worldwide of the Muslim community. And of course, Iran, this is Shiite. They are definitely the ones, I'm not going to say more radical, because they're radical on all sides in some of their beliefs, but they do believe they are called to be the ones to bring in the 12th Imam, the 12th leader, who will bring an end to the world. They look forward to dying more so even than the other side. And these are the ones. So in Iran, which is Shia or Shiite Islam, these women they are clearly risking their lives. They're saying they've had enough. And watch for that this week. See what might roll out of there. We're going to see continued discussion, Canada being a bit of a leader on the whole area of shutting down a total teen social media ban. As I've said before, I'm not really opposed to that. The stuff that, 8, 7-year-olds, 6-year-olds, wide open, they can have access to all kinds of stuff online, and more countries are saying that they're going to bring that to an end. So watch for that discussion as shutting that down. And kids can figure out a way around anything, but at least if there is a law against it or there's a shutdown, parents are more able to restrict what kids are watching there and engaging with others, like adults online trying to engage in the wrong way with kids online. We're seeing a situation arise now in the courts in Canada where Prime Minister Carney has been edging slightly over the last, I don't know, 6 months or so to opening up some major projects, especially liquid natural gas and others. We talk about that on the show, that Canada could be the wealthiest country probably in the world, and helping the world as much as any other country in terms of getting off of coal, dependency on coal, and getting off of other, like in India, burning cow dung as they do in a massive way for heat. And Canada could be a major contributor to seeing global emissions lowered around the world by seeing these projects go ahead and shipping our refined products. But Canadians, fed by the Canadian media, still are trying to predict this false notion that the world is about to end because of climate change. And so people are upset. And there is a group called Eco Justice, that's Eco, ECO. Three young environmental activists involved there, and they're taking now Carney to court for the fact that he would like to, we think he would like to see some of these projects going ahead. So watch for the court developments there. The World Cup, of course, gets everybody all excited. There's a bit of an issue brewing because they're going to have a halftime show, kind of like at the Super Bowl. A lot of people around the world are concerned about that, upset about that. They say, look, halftime in soccer or football is very traditional. Players get to take a break, commentators do their commentating, and people are worried about what kind of political messages are going to be going out if there is a halftime show. That'll be the first ever, so watch to see if that decides to go ahead. That's going to be interesting. Another show that's going ahead is in Canada's Human Rights Museum, and there's going to be an exhibit opening there June 22nd, and all the focus apparently is going to be on the Nakba. That's the word that's used in Arabic for what's called the catastrophe. When the United Nations voted in 1947 and followed through in 1948, voted that Israel should be able to have its own state, as it had for almost 3,000 years. Of course, we know then that right away 5 Arab countries declared war in 1948, declared war on Israel right after the United Nations voted that Israel should be allowed to have its own state. And so there was a huge movement of people. Some claim up to 400,000 people moving out of Israel at the time, Muslims moving out, being told by the other Arab nations, get out of Israel now because we're going to blow Israel to smithereens. And so it was called the catastrophe. The Nakba was this ruling as far as Israel and hundreds of thousands moving out. What people don't talk about is at the same time, millions of Israelis were kicked out of the Arab countries that surrounded them. So here you had a brand new country with no social system in place and having to absorb millions of Jews from around the world. Anyway, that is going to be on June 27th, and people are worried that it's going to be overly sympathetic to groups like Hamas and the issue in Gaza. We'll see what happens, but it's going to be a focus coming up there this week. Ukraine keeps making apparent headway in terms of striking Russian refineries, so watch for how that's going to develop. That's going to get, it's gotten Putin quite upset, but the Ukrainian capacity has really increased to strike back, and we will see where that all goes. There are more censorship bills that are coming forward. In Canada, there's one called Bill C-22, one C-34, or another one called C-34. Remember, we talked about, and I've just been broadcasting into the U.S. at the request of U.S. networks on Bill C-9, which is the bill that is going to make it illegal to read certain passages, read out loud certain passages of the Bible, and that is going through. And now Bill C-22 and Bill C-34 is supposed to be dealing with censorship on the internet. Anytime you see a liberal government saying they're concerned about censorship, what it means is they're concerned about any conservative position being fully and freely expressed, and they'll work to try and shut that down. So let's see how those two bills develop. You can talk about your friends. There's an ongoing little battle, I guess you could say, or a problem between one of our favorites, the leader of Italy, Giorgia Meloni, and she apparently wanted a picture with Donald Trump at the G7 discussions, the big summit in France, and he said he only gave her a picture because he felt sorry for her. Like, I think sometimes President Trump creates problems of his own doing on that point. Those of us who call ourselves conservatives, really like Italy's leader, Giorgia Meloni, and for him to make comments like that, I don't know. Maybe there was something behind it. We'll wait and see. Folks, those are some of the things to be watching for, the ongoing battles brewing and other situations. And don't forget, this is Saturday. Tomorrow is, guess what? Father's Day. So, think of something nice to say for your dad. And some people don't have a dad, or some people maybe wish they didn't have a dad. God says that he will be a father to the fatherless. So if you're lacking a earthly father, call out to the heavenly Father. Thanks for tuning in. See you on Monday.